morning. Let's get today off to a good start, and let's make this a good start for this financial year, because we're fresh into a new financial year. We've finished with whatever happened before. Now we're just looking at whatever we can make happen from here on. Make this year the best year that you've had. How can you do that? Well, by doing the absolute best that you possibly can, and doing everything as well as you can, by focusing on the things that you want, ignoring to a degree the things that you don't want. We have to be aware of what we don't want to make sure that we don't attract it and we don't do things which are going to bring it to us. But most importantly, we want to focus on the things that we do want. There are a whole host of things that go into making a good outcome. First and foremost, we need to recognize that we cannot control the outcome, we can only control the activity. One of the main activities that we get to undertake in business and everywhere in life is listening. What's so important about listening? Listening is what allows you to discover everything. If we're not listening, that is, if we're not listening as well as we could listen, what it means is we've already decided what the outcome of whatever it is that we're involved in should be. If we've already decided what the outcome should be, we'll ask questions which aren't necessarily the right questions. This in turn delivers us answers that are not necessarily the right answers. If we're not listening closely to the answers that we're getting, we might misinterpret them. We might interpret them as supporting our argument when in fact they are not. This can lead to all sorts of frustration and annoyance, particularly for whoever we're speaking with, and then later for us. If we've decided on a particular course of action and somebody else is trying to tell us that they don't want to undertake that activity, but we are continuing as if they're going to do it, it can be very frustrating for them, very annoying. And of course, if subsequently they don't partake of the activity that we thought that they were going to be part of, we get upset. When those sort of things happen, it's really important to look first at yourself. What could I have done to make that a different outcome? Remember, we can't control the outcome. All we can control is the activity. So if we look at a situation where the outcome wasn't precisely what we wanted, look first internally. What did I do? What might I have done which could have changed the outcome? Maybe next time you're going to be in a position where you can do the things necessary to achieve the correct outcome. In my world, in business, the correct outcome is whatever the outcome is based on the need of the prospect and what I want to deliver. Now, if I'm talking to somebody who has shown an interest in what it is that I might be doing, and it becomes obvious to me that what I do isn't what they're after, then I don't have a problem with that. That's a good outcome. Equally, if I'm talking to somebody and it's obvious that what I have is what they're after, and we can make a deal on that arrangement, then that is also a good outcome. Whatever the outcome is that you're after, make sure you're giving it the best chance to turn up. Listening. Why is listening so important? When you listen really well, you see things that you otherwise might not see. And by that, I mean visually. You see things that you otherwise might not see. You see the behavior of the person you're speaking to. You see it very clearly, and you'll interpret it correctly in line with what whoever you're speaking to wants to achieve and what it is you want to achieve. You'll see, are these things aligned? Is it important only when you're talking to a prospecting business? No, it's important when you're speaking to anybody in business and in any other endeavour for that matter. It's important when you speak to your staff. If you're in the habit of telling your staff to do things, are you actually hearing what they're saying? Maybe they're trying to get the message through that we need to change things ever so slightly in order to get a better outcome. People like to be listened to. It shows that you actually care. You have an interest in their view. We've all been in the situation where we've walked into a place of business and the person came out and told us this and told us that and told us something else. How did you feel about being told something that you weren't particularly interested in? Turn it around. When people come to your place of business, do you spend the time to find out what the person wants so that you can deliver the appropriate outcome? Just getting somebody to buy your product or service because they can is perhaps not the best outcome. The best outcome, somebody buying your product or service because they want it and they want to achieve something for themselves. And using your product and service will allow that to happen. Why is it important to listen? Because it saves frustration. It saves customer service issues. It means that you can identify that you are aligned, whoever it is that you're talking to, so that you can move forward, or that you are not aligned and therefore it is not a good idea to move forward. The easiest way to make a decision is to listen, learn the information, learn the facts, learn the criteria necessary to make the correct decision. And having learned the criteria to make the best decision, make the decision. Go with it. Move on. That's the real value of listening, understanding what it is that you can deliver, understanding what it is that whoever you're speaking to wants to achieve. Is this in alignment with what you do? Yes, it is. Go for it. No, it's not. Move on. Do something else. Have a great